TV1. TV for life.
Newsfirst. Main sponsor.
Generators for long-term rent. Multiways Engineering Private Limited.
A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudan Nayak. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Newsfirst. Headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Heavy rains and strong winds across several districts. Irrigation Department issues flood warnings for areas surrounding 12 river basins. Adverse weather during the past week affect 15,000 across the country. Boat capsizes in Munnakkara. 5 rescued. Search operations underway to locate missing father and daughter. All set for the GCE Advanced Level Examination. Special plan in place in case of natural disasters. Rishabh Pant becomes most expensive player in IPL auction history. Joins LSG for 270 million Indian rupees.
Newsfirst. Headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Now the story is in detail. The Department of Irrigation has issued a flood warning for several low-lying areas in the vicinity of 12 river basins. The latest advisory issued by the Department of Irrigation urges the public in the following areas to remain extremely vigilant.
A possibility of flooding is likely in areas near Malwatu Oya, Kala Oya, Kanagarayan Aru, Parangi Aru, Ma Oya and Yan Oya. Additionally, a risk of flooding is likely in areas near the Mahaveli River, Maduru Oya, Mundeni Aru, Gal Oya, Handa Oya and Villa Oya. The Department of Irrigation advises the residents living in low-lying areas and travelling through these regions to exercise extreme caution and take necessary precautions. The Department of Meteorology says that the low-pressure area over the southeast Bay of Bengal is likely to intensify into a depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal by the 25th of November. The system is expected to further develop and move closer to the east coast of the island. Cloudy skies are expected over most parts of the island due to the influence of this system. According to the Met Department, very heavy showers above 150 millimeters are likely at some places in eastern province. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in northern, north central, central and Uva provinces and in Hambantota district. Furthermore, naval and fishing communities are warned not to venture to the sea areas off the coasts extending from Mana to Hambantota via Kankasanturai, Trincomalee, Batiklo and Pottoville from 24th of November until further notice. Wind speed around the above sea areas may increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour at times.
What is the situation regarding the landslide warnings?
Landslide warnings have been issued for 5 districts, which are Badulla, Gaul, Kegol, Norelia and Ratnapura.
How many people have been affected by the adverse weather?
Strong winds and heavy rainfall have impacted 15,622 people from 4,184 families across 5 districts within a week. The highest number of affected people was reported from Mana, with 7,854 people affected by heavy rainfall. The Disaster Management Centre further reported that 44 houses have suffered partial damage due to the prevailing adverse weather conditions. Several areas in Kantale have been inundated after heavy showers battered the area since last night. Low-lying areas including Peraru, Madhurazanagar, 2nd Settlement and 3rd Settlement have been flooded. According to our correspondent, about 30 houses are underwater. Heavy rains in Mathura has resulted in several roads in the area being inundated. The Malimbada Kamrupitiya road was flooded from close to the North Malimbada school, and the flow of traffic along the road was affected since this morning. The Malimbada Tihagoda road was flooded from Valle Thota. According to our correspondent, the Dampalla Kadua road has been flooded in Dampalla, while several surrounding areas are also inundated. With heavy showers battering the catchment areas of the Angamo Reservoir, 2 sluice gates have been opened by 2 feet each. The water is being released to the Lunu Oya. Two sluice gates of the Polgola Dam have been opened to prevent floods that may occur after heavy rainfall was reported from the catchment areas of the Upper Mahaveli Reservoir. 6 sluice gates were opened after the water levels of the Rajangani Reservoir began to rise rapidly. 4 sluice gates have been opened by 2 feet each, while the other 2 sluice gates have been opened by 1 foot each. The water is being released to the Kala Oya. The office of the irrigation engineer in the area has cautioned the general public living in low-lying areas on either side of the Kala Oya. Meanwhile, there is a risk of the section of the Duttugamnu-Mavata towards the Mahaveli River connecting Katugastota and Levella roads sinking. The flow of traffic along this road has been limited to 1 lane due to this situation. 1 lane along the Passara-Lunugala road has been reopened after the road was closed down at the 13th mile post due to a landslide. The lane was only left open until 6 p.m. today. This lane is scheduled to be reopened tomorrow from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, according to the District Secretary of Badulla, Prabhat Abewardana, a final decision on reopening the road will only be taken after a technical evaluation. The Sri Lanka Transport Board has made special arrangements to transport children who will be sitting for their advanced level examination tomorrow and have to travel along this road. The District Secretary of Badulla said that if there is a further risk of landslides in the area, the road will have to be closed down again. Meanwhile, many fishermen did not go out to sea today due to the adverse weather conditions. What is the situation in the north and east? In Trincomalee, the lowlands of Manchole Senei, Kurinjikkeni and Karchekodi Island are inundated in water. These are areas falling under the purview of the Kinya Divisional Secretariat. Several agricultural lands in the Mudur Divisional Secretariat are flooded as well. 49 Gram Niladari divisions in the Mena Divisional Secretariat have been affected by the floods. According to our correspondent, the displaced people are seeking shelter in school halls as well as homes belonging to their relatives. Several lowlands in the Jaffna district are currently flooded. Our correspondent said that 7,020 members of 1,903 families in the Jaffna district are affected by the floods. 15 displaced families are temporarily being sheltered at a temple in the Mulay town. In the Ampara Alaya Divemba Divisional Secretariat, houses in Navatkadu and Chinnakulam have also been flooded. 2 sluice gates of the Peraru Reservoir in the Vaunia district have been opened, and the residents in the lowland areas have been advised to remain vigilant.
2 people are still missing after a boat they travelled on capsized in the Munakara Lagoon in Nigambo.
7 people had arrived this morning for a sightseeing trip to the Munakara Lagoon. According to our Newsfirst correspondent, the group took a boat ride and the boat had capsized.
මට සද්දයක් ඇහුණා කට්ටිය කෑ ගහනවා. මම ඇවිල්ලා වාදී එවරෝ පෙරලිලා තිබ්බා. ඊට පස්සේ මට පුළුවන් විදිහට මම වතුර පැනලා එක්කෙනෙක් මම බේරගත්තා. අනිත් අයව බේරගන්න බැරුව ගියා. අනිත් කට්ටිය මගේ ඇස්පනාවෙටම ඉස්සරහට ගහගෙන ගියා. ඉතින් ඉදිරියෙන් උත් කට්ටියක් පැනලා තව දෙන්නෙක්ව බේරගත්තා. දෙන්නෙක්ව බේරගන්න බැරුව ගියා.
While the residents of Munnakara were able to rescue 5 out of the 7 individuals, 2 individuals are still missing. The missing victims are a 50-year-old father and his 19-year-old daughter. Search operations to find the missing persons are underway.
Well, this is the beginning of a long school holiday. During this school holiday, as you make plans to spend your time on vacations and relaxation, we would like to remind you of something. This is because during the previous holiday seasons, many valuable lives were lost in our country due to recklessness and lack of caution.
During the holidays, if you plan to swim in unfamiliar places, drive at high speeds on the roads, go to the sea or hike in the mountains, do all of these with caution. Do not jump into deep water in unfamiliar areas without first getting some information from the locals. Swimming while intoxicated also puts your life at risk. When you are out on an excursion with small children, be extra cautious. Follow the instructions given by the police and the lifeguards in the areas you visit. We are reminding you of these precautions to prevent you from being a part of a statistic on a list of fatal accidents.
News first with the people.
Newsfirst. Main sponsor.
Generators for long-term rent. Multiways Engineering Private Limited.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
The annual Poppy Day ceremony organized by the Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association and its Armed Forces Commemorative Poppy Committee was held today under the patronage of President Anurukumara Dissanayake.
The ceremony was held at the War Memorial Cenotaph in Viharu Mahadevi Park in Colombo. A 2-minute silence was observed in memory of the war heroes who sacrificed their lives for this country following religious observances. President Anurukumara Dissanayake, along with representatives of Sri Lanka's Ex-Servicemen's Association, paid floral tributes to the memorial. Deputy Defence Minister, retired Major General Aruna Jayasekara, Defence Secretary, retired Air Vice Marshal Sampath Tuyakonta, the President of Ex-Servicemen's Association, retired Lieutenant Colonel Ajit Siambalapitiya were among those present at the event. The commanders of the 3 armed forces were also present at this occasion. The Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association organizes this memorial annually in collaboration with the armed forces to commemorate and honor the heroes who have sacrificed their lives for the security of our motherland from the First World War to date.
Well, it has been 74 hours since the 10th Parliament convened with its new members following the parliamentary election. However, some parties have not yet been able to nominate their members for the National List parliamentary seats. Ranjit Madhu Bandara, the General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balawege, secured one of the 5 National List parliamentary seats allocated to his party, while Ravi Karunayaka secured one of the 2 National List seats allocated to the New Democratic Front. Now, who will get the remaining seats? Discussions inside the parties have been focused on this matter.
The candidates that contested from the Colombo district under the Samagi Jana Sandhana were summoned for a discussion this morning at the opposition leader's office.
දැන් හර්ෂසිල්ලා මැතිතුමා නම් කියන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හිරුනිකා දෙයක් කරා පක්ෂයට එක්ක මේ ජාතික රාජ්‍යත්ව දූරයක් දෙන්න ඕන කියලා. දැන් ඉතින් ඉන්නවද මේ සමගින් ජාතික රාජ්‍යත්ව දූර ඉල්ලන?
ඒ වෙන මන් දන්නේ කාන්තා එකක් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ජාතික රාජ්‍යත්ව 5ක් දෙනකොට එකක් කාන්තා එකක් දෙන්න බෑ. ඉතින් ඒක සුදුස්ස මම.
මොකද මේ ඉල්ලලා දියේද නැත්නම් දුන්නොත් ගන්නවද?
දුන්නත් ගන්නවා මම කතා කරා පක්ෂ නායකතුමා සහ ලේකම්තුමා සිරු දෙනත් එක්ක මම කතා කරා එහෙම අවස්ථාවක් ලැබෙනවා නම් එහෙම එක මට දෙන්න කියලා.
Meanwhile, former parliamentarian Rajitha Senaratne says that Kanchana Wijesekara is suitable for the national list seat of the New Democratic Front that contested the parliamentary election under the symbol of the gas cylinder.
නෑ දැන් එක්කෙනෙක් ජාතික ලයිස්තුවට අපි පත් කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා පත් වෙලා ගියානේ. ඉතින් එතකොට ඉතුරු එකනේ අපිට ඉතුරුනේ. ඒ ඉතුරුනේ එකට අපි මං හිතන්නේ එදා මමම යෝජනා කරා කාංචන වගේ එක්කෙනෙක් යවන්න.
Deputy Minister Ratna Gamage expressed his views at a public meeting in Habaradu, Galle today.
When you take a look, only one person from certain parties have come from the national list with much difficulty, and that too has been stolen from them. People elected from our national list said that there were others better than them. These people have big enough hearts to give up their seats in parliament to another, while people in other groups are fighting over it and won't share. You can imagine what's going on. This is an inspiration. In these difficult times, some people keep nagging that thieves are not being caught and that things haven't been done yet. It has only been 2 months since the National People's Power came into office. When a wedding registration takes place and the couple goes on their honeymoon and then has their homecoming, we do not question them as to why they did not come home with children. This is madness, is it not? At least 10 months is needed for that, or else it is unfair and it does not fit our culture and ethics. Do not panic, as we will take care of things.
Minister of Plantations and Community Infrastructure Samantha Vidyaratna expressed his views on the subject of appointing National List MP at a media briefing held in Badulla today.
I think that this is a period when the people of this country are being taught of a lot of political lessons. The habits of the experienced people are being shown. So they have a tendency to fight over even the single MP post they have received, a tendency to enter their own names in the national list, a tendency for the leaders not to be able to control this. So now it is also being shown that these people have been running the country in the same way for 76 years. Therefore, even though they have the word Samagi in their name, they have no unity. Even though some parties have the word united in their name, there is no unity inside. So now I think many people are understanding this. The nature of those parties are being revealed. Their true nature is being revealed.
How is the National People's Power government's budget prepared? This is what the Minister of Industries and Entrepreneurship Development, Sunil Handunethi, had to say.
We have completed our part of the IMF's loan installment review. They have now successfully approved it after discussions with the staff. Therefore, our maiden budget can fulfill the hopes of the people of our country. A successful budget in all aspects for the aspirations of the people will be put forward for the next financial year.
The human-elephant conflict in Sri Lanka is a serious issue that results in the deaths of both elephants and humans each year. The Vichala International School held its Elephant Scholarship Award program yesterday in Karuvalagaswava for students from families affected by wild elephant threats.
The human-elephant conflict in Sri Lanka is a severe issue, claiming an average of 300 elephants and 100 human lives annually. A scholarship program named as the Elephant Scholarship Awards, organised by the Vichala International School, was held yesterday in Karuvalagaswava for the students of the families affected by the wild elephant threats. The program was attended by elephant ornithologist and the former Director General of Wildlife Conservation, Dr. Sumit Pilapitia, the school's principal, teachers and wildlife officers. A group of students from Anuradhapura, Puttalam, Kakirava, Vananthavilluwa and Anamaduwa received scholarships under the program.
The GCE Advanced Level Examination will begin tomorrow. The Department of Examinations informed the candidates to seek assistance through the emergency hotline numbers 117 or 1911 in case of any emergency due to the prevailing adverse weather conditions across the island. A coordinated plan involving the Disaster Management Centre together with Triforces is in place to ensure that the examination is conducted smoothly.
We are closely monitoring the potential for any emergency or disasters. The Disaster Management Center has established an extensive network in collaboration with the Tri-Forces, the police, district secretaries and various other agencies to effectively respond to any such events. In addition, we have put measures in place to ensure that candidates who are unable to reach their examination centers due to adverse weather conditions will receive the necessary support. In exceptional circumstances, we will offer an alternative accessible center for them to sit for their exams. If any changes in weather conditions take place during the examination period, I expect the media to keep the public promptly informed.
What steps should candidates take if they have not received their exam admission card?
Visit our official website www.doents.lk and click on the title GCE A-Level 2024 Admission Download to access the system. Private candidates can select the individual download option. Thereafter, enter your national identity card number or the mobile phone number provided during the application process to log in. School candidates must obtain their admission cards through your schools. There is no need to visit the Department of Examinations in person for this process.
It is mandatory to validate your admission card before entering the examination center.
What are the type of documents accepted to confirm the identity of a candidate?
The national identity card issued by the Department of Registration of Persons, a valid passport, a valid driver's license, a temporary certificate issued by the Department of Registration of Persons in place of the national identity card.
What steps must candidates follow upon arriving at the examination center?
The exam will begin at 8:30 am for morning sessions and 1 p.m. for afternoon sessions. On Friday afternoon, sessions of the examination will commence at 2 p.m. All candidates are advised to arrive early to the examination center. Invigilators are instructed to get the candidates seated 30 minutes before the exam begins. However, I recommend arriving at the examination center even earlier. Make sure to properly enter your candidate number as it is the most important step to adhere to. An additional 10 minutes have been allocated for the papers including essay questions. Extra writing paper will be provided on request beyond the already provided answer booklet. However, make sure to write your candidate number on those extra sheets and attach the extra sheets as well to the main booklet before submission. Thereafter, submit the paper after careful consideration.
What items are prohibited from being brought into the examination hall?
Carrying mobile phones, Bluetooth devices or any other device used for communication into the examination hall is strictly prohibited. Wearing smartwatches or similar devices is completely banned. We have announced that any violation of these rules can result in a 5-year ban from sitting for the future exams. However, we have permitted the use of calculators only for few specific subjects.
The Commissioner General of Examinations further said that a special program has been implemented to prevent irregularities observed during previous examinations.
Only the chief invigilators are allowed to use mobile phones inside the examination centers this time. We had previously provided this opportunity to all assistant invigilators as well.
When will the results be released?
Looking at the results of the previous years, it has usually taken about 4 months to release the results. We are making every effort to complete the evaluation process as quickly as possible and expect to release the results in a much shorter time period.
Dear children, you are the future of our country. You will face an important milestone in your life tomorrow. Prepare yourself with a clear and a focused mind for this moment. We at Newsfirst sincerely wish you strength, courage and success as you confidently approach your GCE Advanced Level examination. Moving on to news overseas, countries at the COP29 summit in Baku adopted an annual $300 billion global finance target today to help poorer nations cope with impacts of climate change, a deal its intended to recipients criticize as woefully insufficient.
The agreement, clinched in overtime at the two-week conference in Azerbaijan's capital, was meant to provide momentum for international efforts to curb global warming in a year destined to be the hottest on record. Some delegates gave the deal a standing ovation in the COP29 plenary hall. Others lambasted wealthy nations for not doing more and criticized the Azerbaijan host for hurriedly gabbling through the contentious plan. United Nations Climate Chief Simon Style acknowledged the difficult negotiations that led to the agreement, but hailed the outcome as an insurance policy for humanity against global warming.
Promises must be kept to protect billions of lives. This deal will keep the clean energy boom growing, helping all countries to share in its huge benefits. More jobs, stronger growth, cheaper and cleaner energy for all. We needed this to be an enabling COP, one which helped translate the pledges of COP28 into real-world outcomes to protect people, prosperity, and the planet.
However, developing nations as well as countries that are particularly vulnerable to climate change dramatically walked out of the talks. The chair of the Alliance of Small Island States, Cedric Schuster, said, quote-unquote, "I'm not exaggerating when I say our islands are sinking. How can you expect us to go back to the women, men and children of our countries with a poor deal?" However, after some changes to the agreement, nations finally passed the deal. It was met with cheers and applause, but a furious speech from India showed that intense frustration remained. The agreement would provide $300 billion per year by 2035, boosting rich countries' previous commitment to provide $100 billion per year in climate finance by 2020. That earlier goal was met 2 years late in 2022 and expires in 2025. The deal also lays the groundwork for next year's climate summit to be held in the Amazon rainforest of Brazil, where countries are meant to map out the next decade of climate action.
Why did India reject the $300 billion deal?
India firmly rejected the $300 billion global climate finance deal adopted at the COP29 summit in Baku, Azerbaijan, expressing disappointment at the lack of meaningful commitment from developed nations. Indian delegation representative Chandni Raina told the closing session of the summit, minutes after the deal was gavelled in, quote, "I regret to say that this document is nothing more than an optical illusion. This, in our opinion, will not address the enormity of the challenge we all face. Therefore, we oppose the adoption of this document," end quote. Chandni Raina, the Indian representative, criticized the agreement, deeming it inadequate to address the immense challenges faced by developing countries. Supported by nations such as Nigeria, Malawi and Bolivia, India argued that the deal falls far short of the $1.3 trillion target advocated by the Global South, thus undermining the principles of equity and shared responsibility. Developing nations continue to express frustration over the unwillingness of wealthier countries to fully meet their climate obligations.
The Indian Assembly elections saw significant political shifts across key states in India, with BJP achieving a resounding victory in Maharashtra, with its Mahayuti alliance firmly securing power.
The Maharashtra Assembly elections marked a stunning recovery for the BJP, which clinched a record 132 of the 288 seats, surpassing its previous high of 122 in 2014. The Mahayuti alliance in total won 235 Maharashtra Assembly seats. In stark contrast, Congress suffered its worst performance to date, securing just 15 seats, a sharp decline from its 44-seat haul in 2019. The opposition Mahavikas Aghadi, or the MVA, secured only 49 seats in total. BJP's success was driven by a coordinated campaign with state and central leaders, including Devendra Fadnavis, Chandrasekhar Bawankule, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, working in unison to counter anti-incumbency and strengthen their position across Maharashtra's regions. In the 288-seat Maharashtra Assembly election, the key contest was between the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde-led Mahayuti alliance, which includes BJP, Shiv Sena and the NCP, and Ajit Pawar's faction of the NCP, and the opposition Mahavikas Aghadi, or the MVA, which includes Congress, UBT faction of Shiv Sena and Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP. This is the first assembly election since the Shiv Sena and NCP split into rival factions led by Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar. Meanwhile, in the 81-seat Jharkhand Assembly election, the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha or the JMM-led India bloc has secured a majority with wins in 56 seats in the state assembly election.
Ukraine's air defense units destroyed more than 10 Russia drones that were targeting Kiev in an overnight drone attack.
Ukrainian military said its air defenses downed 50 of 73 Russian drones launched overnight across Ukrainian regions. The Air Force said it lost track of 19 drones and 4 more are still in the air. However, there were no immediate reports of damage or injuries as a result of the attack, Kiev's military administration confirmed. The attack comes during a situation where the Russian leader said the Oreshnik missile could not be intercepted and promised to carry out more tests, including in combat conditions. Russia's use of the Oreshnik capped a week of escalation in the war that also saw Ukraine fire US and British missiles into Russia for the first time. Meanwhile, the US expects thousands of North Korean troops massing in Russia will soon enter combat against Ukraine, the Secretary of Defense said yesterday. About 10,000 North Korean soldiers were believed to be based in the Russian border region of Kursk, Lloyd Austin said, where they were being integrated into the Russian formations. The Pentagon chief said, quote-unquote, based upon what they have been trained on, the way they have been integrated into the Russian formations, I fully expect to see them engaged in combat soon.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
The Indian Premier League Player Auction began today in Saudi Arabia.
A total of 577 Indian and overseas players have registered for the auction for the 2025 Indian Premier League Cricket Tournament, in which 10 teams are participating. 366 of them are Indian players. 19 players from Sri Lanka are also registered for the auction. Sri Lanka's Matisha Patirina was the only player retained by Chennai Super Kings before the auction for a price of 130 million Indian rupees, approximately 448.5 million Sri Lankan rupees. During the first hour of the auction, the record for the most expensive player in IPL history was broken twice. Indian player Shreyas Iyer, last year's IPL winning captain, was first auctioned for 267.5 million Indian rupees to the Punjab Kings, breaking the previous record set by Australia's Mitchell Starc, who was auctioned to Kolkata Knight Riders last year for 247.5 million Indian rupees. Shreyas Iyer's record, however, was short-lived as Indian player Rishabh Pant was sold to the Lucknow Super Giants for 270 million Indian rupees shortly afterward.
27 crores, say the Lucknow Super Giants, that's their final bid.
This amount is equivalent to approximately 931.5 million Sri Lankan rupees. Meanwhile, Australian player Mitchell Starc was auctioned to the Delhi Capitals for 117.5 million Indian rupees.
Meanwhile, Rajasthan Royals purchased Vanidu Hasaranga at the IPL auction for 52.5 million Indian rupees. Now, as we all know, the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka was sworn in recently. And let's now take a look at a few of the MPs appointed to the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka.
Tenth Parliament of Sri Lanka. Senior Professor Sena Nanayakara, Party National People's Power, District Anuradhapura, votes secured 86,150. Sena Nanayakara, the seventh boy in the family of 9, was born at the Anuradhapura General Hospital. He received his primary education at the Nivattaka Chaitya National College, Anuradhapura. He completed his advanced level studies at the Anuradhapura Mahinda Mahavidyalaya. Afterwards, he joined the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation as a presenter and later became a student at the University of Kelaniya. There, he actively participated in student politics. He was a highly dedicated academic, achieving excellent results and becoming a lecturer at the University of Kelaniya itself. Later on, he entered the University of Rajarata as a lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication in the Faculty of Humanities.
It was the people of Rajarata that built my life. We believe that if we are working with an honest intention, with a good vision, good program, rebuilding our country won't be an arduous task.
B. Aryavansha, Party Samagi Janabalawegaya, District Ratnapura, votes secured 26,760. B. Aryavansha, a resident of Kallagama, Kolonna, was elected as the youngest chairman of the Kolonna Pradeshya Sabha in 2002. In 2014, he was elected to the Sabaragamuwa Provincial Council representing the Kolonna seat. He has been actively involved in a wide range of social welfare activities aimed at improving the lives of the people in his region.
The past government was a period of complete waste and corruption in this country. Nothing that the people asked was given. As a new member of parliament, we will sit in the opposition and look at how this government gives solutions to the people. We are not expecting any privileges as we enter parliament.
Stephanie Fernando, Party National People's Power, District Gampaha, votes secured 57,634. Stephanie Fernando, who received his primary education at the Jaila Vavala Primary School and St. Xavier's School, completed his secondary education at St. Sebastian College, Kandana. He has shown a great passion for sports since his school days. He was an active member of the people's struggle against the destruction of the Muthurajawala ecosystem.
We have gotten involved in the process of rebuilding this country, which leaves us with a huge workload. The people have put their trust in us. They have handed over the duties of developing, improving and rebuilding this country to us. We will fulfill those duties because we can definitely build this country. We have a program that is connected to the people.
10th Parliament of Sri Lanka.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.